Hello everyone. Now in this video I am finally going to showcase the semifinals match for the PAC League in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And as I mentioned in my previous Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl match, my opponent for this match is going to be Badass Frostlass once again. And we are hoping that we can actually beat this dude, because you know, the better we do in this league, the more we win in this league, the better, obviously. And also we want to see if we can actually make it to the finals. But yeah, so here obviously this is a rematch, so like I'll admit that while I actually did feel good about beating him the last time, like I was a little worried that my preparations could be off compared to last time. Like I was basically fearing like what happened in week 1 when I went up against King Soza, was that I actually had doubts on my preparation, so because of it I ended up changing up a bunch of sets. Well, basically that's what I was actually fearing here in the rematch against Badass Frostlass. And as you can see, his team actually did change quite a bit from the last week, so I don't know what to expect from him this time around. I also changed my team slightly. I think the only change really is just Mew, because before it was actually Whiscash, now it's Mew. And yeah, and my Lucario for some reason is female. I don't know what the hell happened there, honestly. But it's supposed to be the same set from last week, honestly. I think when I was preparing it again, it just came out that way. But oh well, what are we going to do, obviously? That stuff happens to me a lot of the times, especially when I get hasty over these things. So anyway, I believe here is where I'm going to actually try to lead off with the Mew. I think particularly because I was actually anticipating the Mesper to lead so that he can get his rocks up and whatnot, and then start wreaking havoc with the Electivire and the Magnezone. Or at least that's what I was expecting, because the Magnezone and the Electivire look like the wall breakers, and yeah, even Sneasel as well, believe it or not. Especially considering last week it was actually a bandit set. So I'm kind of wondering, given the amount of work that shit put in, I was wondering if he was gonna bring that set back in again and whatnot. But we're about to find out right now. So here we go. Here he's gonna lead off with the Electivire, as you can see. I led off with Mew, obviously, and given that this is not the Mesprit that I was expecting, I decided to just go for the Psychic just to see what he can do actually with this Electivire, to see how well I can take a Thunder Punch if that's what he tries to go for. Give me an idea if maybe it's like a Life Orb set or a Bandit set or something. I just wanted to like test my grounds here, basically. As you can see, hey, he actually ends up revealing the Taunt, and this kind of tells me that he probably was expecting me to lead off with Mew to get the rocks up. But thankfully, this Mew wasn't really built for that, actually. So I just wanted to I actually set this up specifically for the Mesprit, honestly. And the Aura Sphere is obviously for Sneasel if that happens to switch in. And Psychic is just really just to get any sort of damage on anything else he has on his team. But yeah, so here, I was considering what I wanted to do here, but I think I just stay in and go for Psychic. Especially because I was thinking of switching out because of the fact that this Psychic didn't really seem like a 2-hit KO. But I decided to just stay in, given that he did not attack me initially, and just went for Taunt and whatnot. So yeah. Here, now I'm just going to go for another Psychic and take out this Electivire. Surprisingly enough, because I thought it was actually going to be a 3-hit KO given the damage it did initially. But this might have been based on a roll or something, so I don't know. Anyways, now here he's going to send out this thing, the Sneasel. Now, obviously because he sent it in like that, I kind of was under the impression this might have been banded. And I actually did decide to take a risk here, given that I do have a Cobra Berry on this Mew. And I figured if I take more damage now, I'm probably not going to be able to use up this Cobra Berry, so I might as well use it up now. So I decided to stay in and just go for the Aura Sphere. And as you can see, the Throat Chop is going to actually proc the Cobra Berry, and I am going to actually live it. And surprisingly enough, it doesn't even end up doing as much as I thought, actually. I thought this was going to leave me at red, but it actually ended up not doing so. And this is the reason why, because as I go for Aura Sphere, this Sneasel turns out to actually be Focus Sashed and not Banded like last week. So that's actually kind of huge, actually. In fact, so huge that I actually decided to actually switch out the Mew here, preserve it, so that I can use it against the Mesprit later in the match, and decided to bring in the Clefable here instead. So, yeah, because the Clefable, if this Mew could actually take the Throat Chop that well after a Cobra Berry, I want to believe that I can actually take the Ice Punches from Sneasel a lot better than I did last week with the Clefable. So here it is. I think the only thing I'm really worried about here is that he ends up getting the Freeze Hacks again, so that's like my only concern. But aside from that, if I don't get Freeze Hacks, then I should have a good old time against the Sneasel with Clefable. So here we go. Here, I believe I'm going to set up the Stealth Rocks first, because I actually did want to go for Moonlight to actually recover all the HP that I may have lost with this Clefable from the Sneasel. but I wanted to get the rocks up first just in case he tries to switch out at some point. Maybe not right now, but maybe in a later turn. And if he switches out the Sneasel under any circumstance, when it comes back in, he's just going to go down to the rocks. That's basically the goal here. Now here, I'm going to actually go for the Moonlight now, because now I want to actually get my full HP. Like, I want to be at full HP. Unfortunately, now that he goes for Ice Punch a second time, he is going to get the freeze hacks, and that really does suck, honestly, because, you know, like, this is not the first time this happens, obviously. Not even the second time, honestly. This is like the third time in the PAC League in general that I get freeze hacks. But, yeah, like, so, but honestly, my luck in Generation 8 is just really terrible, honestly. You already know that, honestly. It's like a no-brainer at this point. But, yeah, I'm going to stay in and just go for, like, you know, the Moonlight until I can thaw out. And if I don't thaw out, then I just lose this Clefable, period. Thankfully, I do thaw out and just get the Moonlight off, and unfortunately, I am going to try to risk it again and just keep going for Moonlight until I'm at full HP, because what I really want to do is get this Sneasel out of here, honestly. I don't want to be messing around with this thing, honestly. I do want this thing out of here, because it does hit really hard nonetheless, everything else that I have on my team and whatnot. So, yeah, he's going to keep going for Ice Punch. I'm risking it for the biscuit here, honestly. I go for the Moonlight, and I get full HP. Well, not full HP, but after leftovers, I'm definitely at full HP. And now I'm going to go for the Flamethrower, not the Moonlight or the Moonblast, because if I go for Moonblast, he could switch in the Magnet Zone. So I decided to go for Flamethrower here, in case he switches in the Magnet Zone, which, yeah, I definitely didn't want him to do, because, you know. But it would have been nice, honestly, because then I could have gotten damage on that. But yeah, he stayed in and just went for another Ice Punch, hoping for the freeze again, which is crazy in my opinion. But yeah, he stays in and loses the Sneasel, thankfully. Now we don't got to worry about that, honestly. So I think here, I don't remember what he sends in. Oh yeah, never mind. He sends in the Magnet Zone. What the hell am I saying? He sends in the Magnet Zone. And here, obviously, I think I just switch out. I believe to Garchomp. Yeah, just because, like, I do have the Dusknoir, but I don't know. I felt like I didn't want to, like, Dusknoir to take any damage on the off chance it could be useful later in the game. Especially because, there's mons like the Kingdra that could do stuff. Like, if it's a Dragon Dance variant, like, I want it to be able to take hits. Whereas, you know, I don't think Garchomp would be able to handle it, I think. I wasn't sure, honestly, but yeah, I just sent in Garchomp because I figured it was a better switch in, honestly. I could take a Flash Cannon and then from there just go for Earthquake, and if he switches in Mesprit, then obviously we just switch it out and go into, I don't know, like Lucario or something, depending on what he sends in, honestly, because it might not even be Mesprit he switches into. But anyways, here I just stay in and just go for the Earthquake, just to, you know, see if he stays in. He does stay in, actually, surprisingly enough. Like, I thought he was going to probably want to switch it out. Even if he went into Mesprit here, I still just stood by my play of going for Earthquake, but, you know, I think he could have switched out, honestly. But he didn't end up doing so, so we take those, obviously. Now he's going to send out the Mesprit, which, obviously, now I'm going to switch out because I am scarfed on this Garchomp this time around, as opposed to the Roselli berry that I was last week. Just because I figured, yeah, the Kingdra, if that thing sets up a Dragon Dance, could be devastating, honestly. Especially if it's of the Sniper variety, so, yeah. Could be super devastating. That was one of the reasons why I didn't want to send in Dusknoir, because if that thing sends in, or if it takes damage, then obviously it's not going to be able to take hits later on. And everything else on my team is not going to appreciate any attacks from Kingdra, you know. So the Kingdra was kind of threatening, despite me not having the Rain Core, honestly. Because it could have still been a Dragon Dancing variant. Unless it doesn't get Dragon Dance in this game anymore. I don't know, but I didn't do my research on that either, so it is what it is. Anyways, here I think I took an Ice Beam with this Drapion, because I sent in Drapion after he sent out the Mesprit, because I was anticipating the Ice Beam, but I actually wanted to send in Drapion so I can just knock off afterwards. He's going to switch it, the Vileplume, he's going to switch in Vileplume, and now here I'm going to be forced to switch out, because I actually don't got much to do with this Drapion. I am banded, but obviously the Vileplume doesn't have his item anymore, so it's not going to do as much damage, and on top of that, I am afraid of this thing having the Strength Sap, so I decided to hard switch into Lucario, who doesn't care about the Strength Sap, because this Lucario is still the special attacking one that I used in the last week I faced Badass Frostlass, so yeah, here he does go for the Strength Sap, so makes me glad I made the switch, obviously. Now here, I do believe I overpredict and actually go for the Dragon Pulse, because I kind of was expecting him to anticipate the Psychic once again, since I did have it last time I played him, so I kind of just thought he would actually see it come in and try to switch into either Mesprit or the Kingdra even. So that's why I went for Dragon Pulse, but he didn't end up switching out, and he actually stays in and goes for the Drain Punch, which does quite an amount, honestly. I don't know what Vileplume's attack stats supposed to be, but I thought it was supposed to be garbage, honestly. But this did a lot to Lucario, honestly, for it not being a stab move. So, yeah, I think here, because of this, I actually decided to go for Psychic once. I was hoping it'd be able to take it out thanks to the Expert Bill, but as you can see, it doesn't really take it out, actually. And he's just going to go for the Leech Seed here, which I think from here, I actually do switch out instead of finishing this thing off with Psychic, specifically because if he chooses to switch into Mesprit now, he is going to get some recovery from the Leech Seed, so... And I didn't want the Mesprit to get any sort of recovery whatsoever. So because of that, I think here I send in Mew, just in case he tries to go for Strength Sap again, just to get some recovery, obviously. Because even though I'm not attack invested in this Lucario, he still can get recovery, and I don't want that, obviously. However, what he is going to do instead is actually just hard switch into the Mesprit right here, which is fine with me because this was the matchup I wanted initially, honestly. So now is my opportunity to go for the Toxic here, so that on the off chance that this Mesprit chooses to be annoying and actually not go down to any hits I go for with Garchomp or Lucario or any mon for that matter, it is going to be put on a timer regardless. So yeah, now that I got the what's it called, the Toxic on this thing, Mew can finally go down, and like it already did its job, basically is what I wanted to say. It can go down without it without feeling like it didn't do anything, because it definitely did its job now. The only goal I had with this Mew was just to get the Toxic off, honestly. It did use Aura Sphere for Sneasel, so like it literally did everything it needed to do. But now he's gonna bring in this this Kingdra, and obviously with that I'm just gonna send in Scarf Garchomp, because obviously Scarf Garchomp can just destroy this thing. And if he switches in Mesprit, it's not going to appreciate a Dragon Claw, especially now that it's Toxic Poison. So he has to stay in here with this Kingdra now, since he sent it in. And I'm just going to definitely outspeed it, because even if this thing were to be Scarfed, I'm Scarfed too, and Garchomp is naturally faster than Kingdra, so this thing is just a lost cause. It took Rocks damage as well, so not even a Focus Sash could save him here, honestly. This Kingdra was like the most freest Kingdra I've ever had in my life. And it's amazing, honestly. But here, I believe he's now going to send in the Mesprit once again to try to get the Ice Beam off. It's really all he can send in, since I think his only other mon is now the Vileplume, and that Vileplume is almost dead right now. So here I'm just going to hard switch in the Drapion, take an Ice Beam, hopefully I don't get frozen, and try to finish it off with a knockoff, honestly. So here we go. He's going to go for the Ice Beam. I thankfully take it very well. A lot better than I thought, honestly. But I did take it well initially, so it's like, that should have been expected, honestly. But I guess I get surprised, because Mesprit does look like it can hit really, really hard, honestly. But I also am aware of how bulky these things can be. However, here I go for knockoff, and this thing also had a Cobra Berry, so it's kind of like, damn. And here I thought I could take this thing out right away. But instead I just have to take it out with another hit, obviously. Does go for another Ice Beam, and thankfully doesn't freeze, and also doesn't even take me out, surprisingly enough. I actually did think I was going to actually like lose the Drapion here, but turns out it didn't even go down to the Ice Beam, which is kind of funny. But yeah, this allows me to now just knock off the Mesprit, take it down, and that's pretty much going to leave him with his final Pokemon, which is Vileplume. And with that, we're pretty much going to win this match 5-0 actually this time around, as opposed to the 4-0 that we did last time. Now I'm actually really starting to wonder if he actually was trying in this match, honestly. Because honestly, like, he didn't really switch out a lot, honestly. Like, yeah, like, he didn't really switch out a lot, honestly. Like, very little did he switch in, actually. Kind of makes me wonder if he actually was trying for this match. Regardless, we do take those, obviously. But now, here comes what I need to basically go over here before we move on to the next video. So, obviously, this match, we did win it. So, in theory, we should be going to the finals now, right? Well, unfortunately, no. Because what happens is that, remember what happened with Brayden in week 3 of the PAC League in this season? Well, unfortunately, this guy, like, nothing was done about this guy. This guy was never, like taken care of, like, in any sort of way when the whole scandal of the match disconnecting happened, honestly. He basically just still continued to do his matches here, and unfortunately, nobody in the freaking league was able to take him. Nobody was able to beat him, basically. And I was actually annoyed by that, because like literally nobody was able to beat him. Nobody came even close to taking him out, which was the most obnoxious thing ever. Because I even said so in the video. I didn't want to play this guy again, and would you know, he beat literally everybody without breaking a single sweat. And considering the 2 times that I battled him and came close to beating him, only for there to be some bullshit to come out of nowhere, whether it was his fault or not, just kind of really made me like not want to play him, honestly. Just because I feel like if what he did, like if what happened in these 2 matches that we had were not his fault, then he's just bad luck, honestly. Although the first time, let's be real here, he actually did purposely time me out, honestly. But in the second match when it disconnected, the fact he tried accusing me of it kind of makes me feel like he actually disconnected. But again, I can't really prove that, obviously. So yeah, but bottom line is that this guy basically just continued to do the season this league, and obviously he did end up making it to the finals. But like I said before, and I even said so in the week 3 video, that if he made it to the playoffs and if I had to run into him once again, that I was not going to play him. So that's basically what I'm doing here, honestly. Because like I said before, I don't want to lose to somebody who is a pain in the ass like this, honestly. Plus, like I said before, this guy is deplorable, honestly. Like, he's like the most despicable thing I've ever encountered in this community, honestly. So obviously I just don't want to deal with him, honestly. It's not about me being a sore loser or anything like that, because I've already showcased a lot of matches here on my channel right now of me just nothing but losing to RNG, or because my opponents are good, obviously. But yeah, again, like I don't have a problem with losing, but I do have a problem with losing to people like Brayden, basically. So I'm not gonna deal with that, obviously. And the commissioner was kind of upset, obviously, that I chose not to do this match. But obviously, if he's gonna let if he's gonna let a jerk stay in a league and do all of this like nonsense, obviously, and then like you know, come to the finals and then challenge me and act like everything is all normal, then obviously you can't force me to do that, honestly. Like, you can't force me to play a guy like that, honestly. So obviously, yeah, he basically gave Brayden the win, but it is what it is, obviously. At least I didn't have to play him, honestly. So unfortunately, the season is going to end like this, but I honestly rather would end it like this, honestly, than having to play him and then having to showcase me possibly losing it. Because I honestly, like, again, I kind of lost confidence in being able to beat him after the 2 matches that I had where I came close to beating him, ended up, like, not finishing the way they should have, where it should have been either me winning or, you know, not disconnecting and whatnot. So, yeah, that's going to basically be it for this. And because of this, I also have matches that I did, like standalone Wi-Fi matches in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, that I would like to showcase, but it's going to be once I finish showcasing all of these Draft League matches from the PAC League. So, yeah, if you're looking forward to that, stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching this match. And, yeah, stay tuned for the other playoffs match that I have in the Sword and Shield side of the league, obviously. But, yeah, for now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.